everything will work and it will show up on YouTube and Facebook. I don't know. The software has been glitching for the past couple of weeks. Anyhow, okay, so we are live. Hello, everyone. This is Dwight Woods, the Jeet Kune Do Rebel. Welcome to the Jeet Kune Do Dialogues episode number 342. As you're logging in, if you'd be kind enough to say where you're logging in from, hit the like button and feel free to continue doing so throughout the dialogue. If you're catching the simulcast over on the YouTube, please be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell as well. But of course, the best thing you can do is to share this video and spread the word about the Jeet Kune Do Dialogues. Okay, so my dialogue partner today is somebody, I keep an eye on him on Facebook, his teaching style, but kind of just as importantly, his eating style. Because he puts up the best pictures of his meals. So, Jacques Karavasilis, welcome to the Jeet Kune Do Dialogues.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for having
So, let's start with the name.
me.
Part French, one's French and one's Greek.
Exactly.
Explain that.
Okay, I'll try my best. My father was part Greek. His mother was Blanche Duchesne from Baie Saint Paul in an area in Quebec. And his father, my grandfather, Michael Karavasilis, came from Greece.
Okay.
This being said, my father lost his dad when he was fairly young. So none of us in the family know the language.
Oh,
So I have a
but
Greek
but
book.
so instead of being trilingual, you're bilingual.
Exactly.
Ah, wow. Okay. Um, and did I pronounce it correctly? Karavasilis?
As far as I know, perfectly.
Well, I'm gonna even though I live in America, I'm gonna try not to be American and call you Jack.
That's kind of funny because because even my francophone friends here call me Jack.
Really?
Yeah, so I'm kind of used to it.
Nah, that's just laziness. Yeah. Okay. So I don't know where
I have a
to.
technical issue. There's something playing in my ear. Just one moment, please.
Okay. Okay.
Be right back.
Okay. No worries. All right. Okay. So while Jacques fixes that, let me go ahead and tell you guys about. Okay, so apparently Facebook is not working once again, right? Thanks, Terry. Um, the guys in Ukraine are trying to work on that. So while Jacques takes his time, let me go ahead and put some stuff up to call your attention to it. This is the GoFundMe page for my student Wayne Quinton down in Barbados. This is to help his wife Petal in her fight against breast cancer. This is the page JKD Drills. Go ahead and like and follow there so that when it goes active, you'll be aware. Okay. All right.
I'm back.
Okay. Are you good?
Yes.
All right. Okay. So, like I was saying, I don't know. I don't quite know where to start with you, but this is what I want to do. You call your outfit MultiKick, correct? Okay. So that definitely has something to do with the Taekwondo background.
Originally, it had a lot to do with the Taekwondo background, but
Hmm.
then the years it became some of them sort of a mix of kickboxing, sanda, sabat, muay thai, hence multi-kick.
Right.
What I mean that is the emphasis on different combat styles using hands and
Where so okay, so the Taekwondo background, right? You're a seventh degree black belt. Now, Jong Chan Kim, is he the pioneer of Taekwondo in Canada?
no, he's not. I believe it was Grandmaster Park Jung-soo that came a little bit earlier.
Okay.
The pioneer of Taekwondo in Montreal. believe, the whole province of Quebec.
I want to ask you about, because for some reason, do you know anything about the pioneer of a karate system called Wado Ryu in Canada?
No, I don't. Sorry.
No? Hmm.
Doubt for you, but I don't.
Yeah. Okay. Because okay, you know what? Let's do this. I'm gonna call the name, and you tell me what you know about him. Right? Okay. Ready?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Alex Kwok.
Yeah, he's the one that was chosen to portray Bruce Lee in that
Yes.
movie that was supposed to be co-produced by Barbara Streisand, and that never came around.
Right. Wow. You know your history. Okay. Um, Jean-Yves Thériault.
Yeah, he's a legendary fighter, kickboxing champion, and he actually fought one of my very close friends in a close fight, which I believe my friend won. The press also believes he fought Don the Dragon Wilson.
Ah. Okay. Jean Frenet.
Jean Frenet is a great forms champion who's now involved in the movie business, doing stunts and different things. I don't know him personally, although we've crossed paths. In
Hmm.
years ago, like decades ago, I went into a competition in forms, and I think I placed fourth, something like that. Of course, he won, and he was like he was always competing with one of my teachers, one of my favorite martial artists, and another legendary champions, Keith Hirabayashi, now known under the name of Keith Cook.
Right.
There was Cynthia, there was Keith, there was Jean Fournette.
Right. Yes. 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 Oh my gosh, man. Okay. So you have quite the colorful history, and you know your Canadian martial artists.
Some of it, actually, I think now I have more connections in LA than I do.
Hmm. Yeah. I didn't know that Keith Hirabayashi was now known as Keith Cook. That I didn't know.
Yeah, he changed his name when he went into movies.
Uh huh.
That's why if you look for movies with Keith Hirabayashi, he's known as Keith Cook. He was in Cynthia's latest uh,
Hmm.
Black Creek, which also co-stars.
Okay. All right. Well, since we're talking about people in martial art entertainment and what have you, so you train with Malia Bernal de Cascos.
A little bit, yes, sir. She's a very.
Okay. Do you know her son, Mark?
I never met Mark. I'm friends with his brother Craig. I've
Okay.
met his wife. I've met Mark's eldest son, but I've never had the chance to meet
But
Mark.
not Mark himself. Oh, okay. All right. All right. So talk to me about competition, because I, I guess martial art competition is as big in Canada as it is in the States,
Well,
like tournament activity and that type of stuff.
yeah, I don't know now because I haven't been following this type of thing for decades.
Hmm.
It used to be, yeah, that they had Canadian Open championships, and they would have hundreds of competitors. I think Jean Frenet even promoted one in Montreal and was in it, but at the time I did not know. We hadn't met yet.
Ah, okay. Because your background, I'm looking at my notes here. Um, where Oh, you're supposed to tell me the story when you were supposed to fight for the 118-pound championship.
Yeah, there's a story there, of course. So at some point, I decided to change gears and go towards kickboxing. So one of the first things I did is I met Don Wilson at a seminar in Montreal. We developed a friendship, and then at some point he said, because at the time he was located in Cocoa Beach, Florida. He
Hmm.
had Wilson Martial Arts Studio in Cocoa Beach, Florida. So,
Hmm.
you know what? Why don't you come and train? Come and train at the school. So I said, okay. So I had no money, no nothing. So I had to inquire. I said, well, how much does it cost? No, I'm not going to
Wow.
come and train. So I went to train there, and then I decided I was going to try my hand at kickboxing. But at the time, I weighed 117 pounds, soaking wet. And there were just no fighters here at 117 pounds.
Right.
They couldn't find anyone unless
Right.
match me with a child or something. So at some point, the joint Tiger Paul's Paul,
Okay, wait. Your audio fell out again. Okay. All right. Say that again because we missed that.
yeah. So I was training at a kickboxing gym. Belonged to Tiger Paul, a Haitian guy by the name of Paul Innocent. That's his name. And he knew I was looking for a fight. And then one day he came to me and he said, "Listen, we found you a fight." I said,
Hmm.
"Great. How much does the guy weigh?" He said, "He's 117 like you." Perfect. Does he have a lot of fights? No, no, no. He's just like you. Okay. So I started training with him, doing mitts, more bag work, more running, more skipping rope, and so on. A little bit of sparring. And at some point he came to me and he said, "You want to do a 4-rounder or a 7-rounder?" I said, "Why are you asking me?" Because it says if you do a 4-rounder, it's going to be like your first professional fight. But if we make it a 7-rounder, it will be the first provincial championship at 117. And he says, whether anybody gets knocked out or not, you get paid for 7 rounds instead of 4 rounds. So I said,
Hmm.
well, let's make it for this championship. Let's go for 7 rounds.
Uh-huh.
But train more. And then one day, there's a guy that came to the gym, and my trainer told me, "Yeah, this guy, he's your weight. He's 117 pounds, and he wants to spar with you." I said, "Okay." So I put the gloves on, everything, and working in my corner at the gym was the brother of a Quebecois kickboxing champ, the brother of Cal Lavoie. So we started sparring. The guy had no technique. He was just like all over the place, all over me. He was flailing.
Hmm.
And I had a hard time keeping it off. I was going like this, like this, like this. I couldn't get my kicks in. He was overcrowding me. Round one ends. I go back to my corner. The trainer is screaming. He's furious. What the heck are you doing? You're supposed to throw those kicks of yours. You're not doing anything.
Uh,
Go back. Second round starts. Go back for the second round. Same thing. This guy's flailing away. He's crowding me. I can't get my kick. So I'm a natural southpaw. So I figured, okay, I have to time this guy. The next time he swings, I have to throw my cross. And I did. And I threw my cross and I hit him. He stumbled and then he said, "Stop." We said, "Why?" And he was wearing like, I don't know the word in French. And it's like, it's fake tooth or something like that. And he was still wearing it during the sparring. And apparently I broke it. He said, "That's it." Okay. And then he was so mad. And I didn't do nothing wrong.
hmm.
Started cursing me. And he said, "You know what? Tomorrow, same place." I said, "Yeah, okay." And I went the next day and he didn't show up. And I went the day after and he still didn't show up. And I went the day after. And then my trainer told me, "Your fight is canceled. There's no fight." So I never found out who that guy was.
Wow. but okay, but explain this to me. A guy shows up at the gym where you work out and says, "I want to spar," and you guys just spar?
In those days, yeah.
Man.
The 80s, the kick 80s.
Right.
Nobody knew, well, nobody knew what they were doing. Dave
Yeah.
Ferry knew what he was doing. Don Wilson was doing, but we didn't know what we were doing. We just figured, we're going to do Taekwondo and we're going to put boxing gloves on and that's it.
Right. Yeah. What about people like um what's his name? Bill Wallace, um even Joe Louis, and like, but Bill Wallace, for example, was he big in Canada?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like seminars and all that type of stuff
Yeah.
too.
Yes. I never met him, but I know he came to Montreal because
Ah,
sometimes teaching, I had my own school. So I never met him, but he did come to Montreal. He was well known. Joe Louis came to Victorio's gym, Victorio being Jean-Yves' brother.
Uh-huh.
I was teaching that evening and I couldn't get out of it. But as soon as my class ended, I ran over because it wasn't that far from my place. I met Joe Louis and I knew that he had a bad reputation. Some people were saying that, he was arrogant and so on.
Yeah.
And sweetest guy with me. We started talking about martial arts and kickboxing and full contact. And at some point, movies. And I told him that I had his movies. I had Jaguar Lives, I had Force 5. And he said, Man, besides my mother, you're probably the only guy.
Yeah, I think Joe Louis was quite a character.
He invited me to North Carolina to train, but I never had a chance to go.
Yeah. Okay, so you said that this was close to your place. So when did you start teaching?
I started teaching, I was 14.
When did you start training?
I was 13.
Okay, so you got to explain that.
So I was 14, I was a green belt, and there were no children classes. And in the adult class, I was getting pummeled every single day.
Yeah,
As a matter of sparring was my least favorite element of the class because there was a beating every day.
right.
And then my nephews, or almost my age, wanted to join. Some other young guys wanted to join. So I convinced my master. I said, Can I start a children's class? I said, Yeah, sure. Saturday morning, children's class. Okay. So I started that. Then afterwards, he said, You're doing okay. Why don't you teach the white belts, the adults as well? Okay. Then at some point, he had a branch school, which was much farther away. And he had a tiff with the owner of that branch school.
Uh-huh.
And he just kicked him out. But then they had no one to teach.
Uh-huh.
So he said, Okay, you're going to go to branch school. So for a while, I was in school.
But I mean, with a year's experience?
Yeah, but you have to consider one thing, even though it's still a year's experience. By that time, even I'm not proud to say this, but I had dropped out of school. So I was in the dojang 6 days. The only reason
Oh,
was because it was closed on Sundays. Otherwise,
right. Um, okay. Well, let's make sure that your audio doesn't mess up on this one.
uh,
There are certain people in your life who would not have been happy that you had dropped out of school.
most people actually things were having an argument. But my father was from the old generation. He didn't understand, even though my father paid private school for me, which was very expensive in those days.
Hmm.
But my father was more of the mentality that, as long as you're doing something with yourself, if you don't go to school, then get a job or do something. And
Okay.
the plan in my case, that's another part you don't know about me, is everybody expected me, including myself, to become a commercial artist because I would draw all the time. Actually, I graduated from commercial arts school in 1970,
Hmm.
and I could not attend school until I was the age of 60. So my father let him do the Taekwondo thing for a couple of years, go to art school after, which, and then
Right.
university.
Okay, wait, say that one again.
Later on, I went to university and I studied mass communication.
Okay. So, did you ever embark on a commercial art career?
Nope, got and I'll tell you why I got sidetracked. This is all Bruce Lee's fault.
Yes, let's blame. Yes, let's blame him.
I'll tell you why.
Okay, wait. We're having trouble again.
I'm saying I was a sickly child and I had a very overprotective mother.
Okay.
Oh, if I sneeze, oh, poor little darling, stay home.
Mm.
Overprotective. So I was fascinated by stories of, I don't know, Captain America, he's a weakling and then he becomes a superhero.
Mm-hmm.
So I would draw superheroes and I thought I'd make a career out of it. And actually, I could send you later on drawings. It's pretty good at it too.
Wow.
And then I was introduced to Bruce Lee and I figured I don't have superheroes. I can try to become one.
Right. So I take it this was Kato and the Green Hornet.
Yes, sir.
Ah.
And it changed my life for so many reasons. I was never an aggressive child. That came later on, but and my first reaction is, and I got picked on almost every single day because I was going to private school. I had this little outfit, I had this little cap on, and all the bullies in the area picked on me every single day.
Yeah.
And then my first reaction, if they got too close, was to try to do something with my legs. And then they would call me names, which I'm not going to mention because they're not politically correct. They never were. They are not now.
Right.
Me names. You fight like a girl. That's derogatory, but anyway,
Right. Oh, because you were kicking?
yeah. Even though my first reaction was like, okay, I'm going to keep them away with my legs. I don't want this big guy in my face.
Right.
So then came along. Thank God it was cool now to people.
Right. Right. Yep.
And
Yep.
then later on, I always wanted to do martial arts. Was always and am fascinated by anything about Asia, most especially martial arts. But my overprotective mother didn't want anything to do with it, didn't want me to have anything to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
And my father would always tell me, you're still too little, later on, later on. Then one day, July 1973, first, I imagine, my father's reading his paper. Hey, Jean, come here. What? Look at it. Kato died. Yeah, he died. His name was Bruce Lee. We never knew his name was Bruce Lee. It was Kato.
Oh.
We thought Kato was his real name.
Right.
Kato died. I said, can't be. I mean, he was a young guy, 1966, 73 guy. I said, yeah, you know,
Okay, wait, we missed that one.
okay. So, yeah, so my father was explaining that it was mysterious circumstances,
Right.
details, and they're advertising the movie. We were so pleased. Let's go.
Oh
And
man.
I
Okay,
said,
wait. This is getting worse. I didn't hear any of that. But answer this to, repeat that. But answer this too. You guys didn't know he was Bruce Lee because you didn't watch the movies,
there were no movies at the time. There was just the Green Hornet. That was 1966.
right? But when he died in '73,
We didn't even know he did movies.
what?
No, in 1973 here in Montreal, they just started. The Kung Fu boom started like probably 1972 with David Carradine's Kung Fu episode
Oh,
came out.
oh,
Two of them.
right. Okay.
Yeah. So then my father said, Kato did a movie and it's playing. Let's go see it. And I said, is he the co-star again? He says, no, he's the star of the movie. Great, no Green Hornet this time. No. He doesn't want Hornet. It's his movie. I said, what is it called? Chinese Connection, also known as Fist of Fury.
Right.
So I sat there with my dad in awe. And it was a religious experience. I figured that's what I want to do for the rest of my life.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then a bit later, sometime in August, they were advertising at the Montreal Forum a demonstration by 30 of the leading Taekwondo masters. And we didn't know what Taekwondo was, but we figured some kind of karate.
Mm-hmm.
So we went to see that and
Mm-hmm.
Arise again. And there was a flyer advertising well, one school with two branches. The head school, the GC Kim Taekwondo Institute with
Yeah.
Grandmaster John Kim, and another one bearing his name, but we didn't know the instructor. So during the demo, I saw this little Korean guy flying over a bunch of guys bent over, and at the end there was somebody shoulders holding a board, and I said to my dad, "I want to learn from that." And my dad said, "Well, I don't know who's going to be the teacher. I can honestly tell you, you're going to go to the one that's closest to our base. Because if you're going to get serious about this thing, to bring you far away." Okay. So September 20th, 1993, 6 p.m., I walked into school. And then calling the headmaster because no class into the office. It's that little Korean guy that I saw flying over. So I said, yeah. My dad said, are you sure you want to do that? I said, oh, yeah. Of course, my mom was totally against.
Right.
Then she gave that was her split with the
Wait, wait. You got to say that again. Didn't hear that.
so my dad said, listen, mom, listen, with the mouth doesn't learn, he is going to get hurt. So they the way they were promoting it, they were selling not selling, but you could for belt course, a yellow belt course, green belt course, and so on.
Uh huh.
Of course, they had a special for black. So my well, you know what? Let's start with the beginning. I'll sign you up for a yellow belt course. If you ever get there, we'll see. Then okay, I was at the dojo. I got my three,
Say it again. You got your yellow belt.
3 months,
Okay.
and then my look, where do you want to go? Like, all the way to black? No,
Okay. No, we did. I didn't. I didn't hear that.
sorry.
But I figure what you're talking about. You finished your yellow belt, and then we signed up for the black belt course.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. So back then, how long did it take to get a black belt then?
Well, it depends. You know, it depended on your attendance. It depended on skills. It depended on a lot of stuff.
Right. Well, if you're living there,
Yeah. Well, when I started, I had barely turned 13, and I received my black belt before I was 16.
mhm. Okay. All right. So now let's move on to the JKD because we know that Kato was an influence.
Yeah.
Now, you didn't know there were no movies in Canada. Was there Jeet Kune Do? And what was your first Jeet Kune Do experience in Canada?
Well, I wouldn't say an experience, but the first thing was really everything I could get my hands on. So
Right.
we did get in Canada Black Belt Magazine, Karate Illustrated, Fighting Stars, and a lot of those, and a bunch of other ones.
Right.
My dad bought them all for me, and I and of course we were hearing about Bruce Lee, and even the local paper, like the movie magazine paper, Bruce Lee, like almost every week.
Oh wow.
Yeah, they would have special spreads, Bruce Lee, and so on. And then doing was supposed to be Taekwondo, the way it is. So okay, started reading. Good. Then I guess it would be in the 80s. Then you know,
Okay. Didn't hear that.
okay. I guess in the 80s, Inosanto here, he was hosted by Johann Philipp Gina,
By
Phil,
whom? Jelinas.
yeah,
Okay.
who's a full instructor under Sifu Inosanto. He was
Right.
the highest ranking Go masters. He's probably the highest ranked in a bunch of martial arts. I don't know if Johann Philipp is the father of Canadian Taekwondo, perhaps, but he's definitely the father of Taekwondo in the province of Quebec, for sure.
Hmm.
Sure.
Okay.
Started to attend seminars, and then much later on, then my good friend Steve started to bring Steve along. So I also went to them.
Okay. So I didn't hear that, but I'm gonna assume that you said Sifu Patrick Chan,
Yes, sir.
right? He brought Ted Wong. This would have been in the 90s.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Okay. So now you have Inosanto influence and Ted Wong influence, right? Okay. And what happened thereafter?
I continued as I am doing now. I am the way I see it. Bruce Lee left us because we're not going to do semantics. It's a style. It's not a style. It's a system. It's not a system. He
Right.
left a blueprint. So the blueprint is Bruce Lee. And in my beliefs, from there, you have to do your own research.
Okay.
And I'm still doing my own research until now.
Right. Right. Yeah. And that's what took you down the path of your kickboxing orientation.
That and other things. Remember that I befriended Don the Dragon Wilson in 1983. I promoted Benny the Jetter Kid as a seminar to Montreal. Even,
Ah.
even though when I signed the contract, I didn't have any money, but I found the money.
Right. Right. Yeah. It was well attended, I assume.
It was well attended.
Yeah. Yeah. Who else did you bring to Canada?
I didn't bring anybody else to Canada, but a
Oh,
lot of people were bringing people. So Joe Wadman brought Don Wilson. That's where, and Chuhan Philip brought Sifu Inosanto every single year.
right.
And then in the 90s, Sifu Patrick Chan brought Ted Wong every year.
Right. How do you get your hands on box française training?
I didn't train in Boxe Français. I,
Oh,
I looked into it. Actually, right now, I'm talking to Professor Nicolas Seignac because I'm
okay.
curious about it. I've
Yeah.
always favored leg kicks. Our
Right.
school ladies from the Benny the Jet Rikida's influence, we were the only ones sparring with low kicks. Nobody
Okay.
low kicks.
Right. Yeah. Have you seen the late Salem Ashley's video series?
I used to have them. I used to have them on VHS. Now we can see most of them on YouTube. I think they're
Yeah.
great. Never met. It's strange that I never met him because I hear he's been to Montreal many.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you know John Maidman?
I know the name. We might have met during some of Sifu Inosanto's seminars, but I'm
Okay. What about Ray McKinnon? Do you know him?
no,
Stefan Kesting.
no.
Man, Canada must be bigger than I thought it was.
Canada's the second biggest country in the world.
I know. I know. A lot of people are not aware,
Yeah.
right? That Canada is massive.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, they're really not. It's like, oh yeah, that's that country that sits on top of the states, right? And that's like it, right? That's all they know about it. So now your instructorship under Inosanto came um, directly from him or through someone else, through Tuhon Philip or somebody?
Directly from him, and there's a decent story there too.
Oh, go, go.
So I was attending the seminars promoted by Tuhan Philip Jelena, and Tuhan Philip knew that I was going to legend camps in LA, CLAT camp in LA, and so on. And then at some point, he told me, he said, why don't you get certified? I mean, you go there anyway, you do the training anyways. Why don't you get certified? I said, well, I don't know. Maybe it's complicated. Said, yeah, but there's one thing I can do for you is going to help a little bit. I said, okay. I said, I can give you a letter of reference.
Okay.
Time you go there, bring this letter of reference. I said, okay. I planned a trip that same year or the following, probably that same year, with my best friend Ron. Hi, Ron. And we were going to the Legends camp, and I had this feeling that Sifu Inosanto was checking on me like never before.
Uh,
And I told my friend Ron, and he said, I don't want to spoil it for you, but I think it's just in your head. I said, no, I'm telling you, I've been to many seminars. Like, for instance, we would all be sitting down, and Sifu Inosanto would be explaining something, and he'd be standing straight in front of me. And he'd look me in the eye, and he would say, do you understand, sir? He was like, he's talking to me. And then my friend said, no, you're imagining. I don't know if it was the second, third day or what. Sifu was teaching something in the John Fan Gong Fu JKD segment. And I think it's a double pack. And then he's roaming around. And usually when I went to the Legends camp, he would show things quite a few times, obviously, but then
mhm.
the instructors would roam around. But
Right.
this was Sifu Inosanto who was roaming around. And he stopped smack dead in front of me. And then my friend Ron whispered to me, you're right, he is checking you. So Sifu bent down a little bit and he said, okay, try. I said, okay, yes, sir. So I did really my best, probably my best ever.
Mm-mm.
And he looked at me and he said, nice. He left.
Right.
Then the following day, Cookie came to me and she said, you have to come and see me after class. I have a certificate for you.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah. That's how it happened. That's how it happens. But now you haven't been. You said that you haven't been since the pandemic, right?
He hasn't been here either.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Um, yeah. I mean, his travel schedule got cut down massively. Since the pandemic. So, um, yeah. If you're gonna well, but they still have Legend. Would you do the full 40 hours?
I never do the full 40 hours. I
I
never
could, I couldn't even do that when I was younger.
exactly.
Yeah.
I never do that. What I do is, of course, I do all the Jean Gong. I do some of the Wing Chun,
Hmm.
and I do all the Muay Thai,
Okay.
and that's it. In between that, I have to take a nap. I'm an old guy.
Right. Yeah. 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 So we could say that the empty hands is pretty much your forte
Yes, sir.
versus like the weaponry stuff and what
Yeah.
have you, right?
Actually, lesson from 200 Filipino Kali, and I always mess it up. And at some point, we've been 40 some years. At some point, he said, Doc, tell me, what's wrong with you? How is it that you do well with the other stuff and you can't get this? No, in the way, if you give me one stick, it's not so bad. You give me two sticks, oh,
Right. Yeah. Oh man. Um, you had mentioned to me about being um, the Taekwondo rebel at 14, already thinking Jeet Kune Do.
I have one example for you. There are many
Okay.
that sort of fun. In Taekwondo, especially the old school style, I'm talking ITF Taekwondo,
Okay.
the military one, not the Olympic one.
Okay.
Nothing against it, but they're different.
Mm-hmm.
So in the old school style, especially in the old days, not so much now, I believe, but this was the fighting. And I was 100 some pounds, 13, 14, 15 years old with men, and I would get trashed all the time. There was one particular student, nice guy, if you don't have to spar him.
This sounds so familiar.
Of Greek origins, Tassos. I don't know whatever became of it, but he would always do the same. Such a weakling, I always fell for it. He would go for my dobok, my uniform, go for my sleeve, pull me, and slam the leading side kick in my ribs day after day. That got pretty tedious. So
Uh,
I got to do something else. I'm not going to survive this. And then I started looking at Bruce Lee stuff and remember that in those days, we didn't have DVDs, we didn't have videos, we didn't have YouTube. We had books, if we were lucky,
mhm.
magazines. And I saw this famous Bruce Lee photograph from Enter the Dragon towards the last fight scene with Han, where he's bare chested and he's sort of like this. And I figured, yeah, I could do that. I could protect the upper part here, go tight here. If he kicks here, I'm just going to grab his leg. Yeah, I could do that. And I started doing that. And it
Wow.
went well for me. Then one of my childhood friends was also doing Taekwondo at the same school, but he was attending different classes than I was.
Mhm.
He started doing the same thing. But then our master, our head master, Master Che Iksan, may he rest in peace, was not too happy about that. So he said to my friend, Danielle, no, 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 in his broken English, Taekwondo, like this. And my friend said, no, 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 no. My friend didn't speak much English, and he was about a green belt too. So he said, me like this. And then again, the master reiterated, no, Taekwondo like this. No, no, me like. Who teach you this? He say Jacques. He said,
Right. I see. You've been a troublemaker for a long time.
yes, sir.
Good. Good.
To at a school in Laval, which is on the North Shore. I live on the South Shore of Montreal. But in the 80s, I used to go help and teach weekends, especially when they were going to tournaments at a school on the North Shore in Laval.
Hmm.
And I don't know, maybe I was a second degree black belt. I'm not even sure I was a third degree black belt back then, regardless. And I would spar the red belts because in our style, we don't have brown belts, we have red belts.
Right.
I would spar the red belts and I would go back into my stance and they would kick me and I would just grab their leg. And then they would get so frustrated, say, no, man, you can't do that in Taekwondo. Says who? You got different options. You can
Right.
so fast that
Right.
you can kick me so hard that I don't want to grab it, or you can stop doing it because I'm going to grab you all day long.
Okay. But so they never kicked you out of the school or anything.
Nope.
Okay. So ultimately you won out. They let you do what you wanted to do.
Yes, sir.
Good. Good. That's the way it should be. But this is interesting though, Jacques. This is really interesting because there's no way that anybody could ever say to you, Bruce Lee wasn't that influential,
No.
right? Okay. All right. So now you got to help me settle an argument that I'm having with a good friend of mine. I say to him that the Bruce Lee legend was strategically built by media. If we had never had Fight in Stars magazine, for example, because the premiere issue of Fight in Stars had Bruce Lee on the cover, it's published by Mito Uehara, who was Bruce Lee's friend and student, who's the guy who ultimately published the Tao Jeet Kune Do, published Bruce Lee's Fighting Method. My friend Jose's contention is that it would have happened no matter what. My contention is no. If Bruce Lee had died and Enter the Dragon was released a couple months later and nothing ever happened thereafter, he would not have been the legend that he that. So you have to say that I'm right and settle this.
You're right.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, he's probably such a legend because he died so young. James
Mhm.
Dean, Elvis. Even though Elvis Presley, we started to see him, get fatter and different things, but
Yeah.
Marilyn Monroe, James Dean will always be young. They will always be
Yeah.
youth.
Yeah. Hey, do you think Bruce Lee would ever have gotten fat?
No, but then again, he didn't have Nada, my spouse, cooking for him.
Ah,
Tanya,
yes. Now.
I have an alibi.
Now, but like I said in the beginning, the stuff that you put out there, you and my friend Bob Landers from Oklahoma, you guys have a talent for taking photographs of your meals.
But it's so easy. I mean, the meals are so gorgeous.
Yeah.
There's two, just put the phone on top.
No, man, I think you guys have like a food filter or something, right? Because every time I see I'm like, oh my, I get so hungry every time.
Well,
But
you know that.
huh?
We're still waiting for you.
Yeah, I will make it. I guarantee you, I will make it. But I wanted to ask you about that. Are you like on a specific diet or something, or do you just try to eat smart or what?
Actually, I'm on a specific diet. It's a seafood diet. I eat it.
Okay, so what is it that keeps you so trim then?
I'm not trim. I gained weight. I have to lose. But
Uh,
what I would call the police, my spouse Nada. No, this is not healthy. This is not good for you. You have to take care of yourself. You're supposed to train. You're supposed to be this martial artist. Da, 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 da. So the food police.
well, hey, somebody has to crack a whip on you, right? Because when you didn't have somebody to do that, you were getting yourself in trouble grabbing people's legs.
When I was very young, much younger, like probably late 20s, and I was working in a bank, people still kid me about that. My breakfast at the office was a chocolate bar and a Coke. That's
Yeah. But at 118 pounds, you were one of those metabolism guys, right? That you could eat anything.
I
And
think actually my father was desperately trying to put weight,
yeah.
and he used to tell me, "You're going to say you're going to be like me. You're going to hit your 30s, and then it's going to happen." Actually, it didn't really happen in my 30s. It happened like probably in my 50s, and now
Hmm.
every single week. I like what Seafood Inosanto says, that your body goes through changes every 5 years.
Yeah. Yeah. I never believed him when I first heard that.
I can relate.
Now I can.
I can relate.
Yes, for sure. Now I can. Yeah. Okay. Tell me about the kids that I see you online torturing every week,
Okay.
right?
No,
we've got the black girl, then we have the blonde um older woman, and then we have the tall guy. And then there's the guy. It looks like he's in the garage. The bigger, the stockier guy.
Okay, so here's the explanation. I teach 3 classes a week. One class is at the office, and the class at the office, depending on the week, I have the blonde lady, I have the very tall guy, and I have a younger guy who comes every now and then. The other 2 classes are private classes. The other lady in my basement, she comes every Friday. Actually, her class was canceled because I'm with you, but
Oh, don't no. Now she's gonna blame me.
she's very excited about that. See you later, Candice. She's very it's just postponed. Okay, the class is
Thank you, Candace, for freeing up your time so he could hang with me.
so it's just postponed. So she comes to my place every Friday. And then the stockier guy, this is his recording studio because he was a very well-known Quebec announcer back in the day.
Okay,
And for the past 30 years or so, he has his own communication company. And that's his little home studio.
so that explains the lighting. I always wondered about that.
That,
Yeah.
that Hi, Stéphane. So
Okay.
all in all, at the office, I have Carole, I have Alexandre, and I have Jean-François. And then privately, I have Candice and I have Stéphane.
Nice. Nice.
In
Well,
this case, that's interesting. There's a little story there too. Because before me, Stéphane had 9 different boxing coaches
okay.
over a 2.5 year span. And he was not fully set. So at some point on a Facebook page for just a local area, he put an ad that he was looking for an instructor in this area
Hmm.
that came to his place to teach him privately boxing.
Okay.
I contacted him and I said, listen, I'm no boxer, but I love boxing and I work at boxing and I really work at improving my game at boxing. But I'm no boxer. But depending on your experience, I think I can help you.
Hmm.
So he said, okay. So I said, you're a lefty or righty? He said, I'm a lefty. Oh, I'm a lefty too. Okay. And I said, I'm a big guy. Okay. So I went there. Said, let's try. Let's try one class. And if you don't like what I have to offer, we can still be friends. I said, okay. He loved it. And he started improving because when I started working with him, he had sort of what's the English word? He had sort of like a staccato rhythm. Boom, boom, boom. And I
Okay.
no, we have to get your hands going. We have to get your hands flying because that's never going to work in a fight. So we did that for quite a while. At some point, he was even taking 3 private classes a week.
Wow.
So he started improving a lot. And then at some point, I said, why don't you want to learn how to kick? I never crossed my mind.
Troublemaker. Troublemaker.
Always, always.
Yeah.
So we started, and he loved it. And actually, he was pretty decent at it. So then I said, okay, I'm going to introduce different things to you,
Hmm.
and let's see how it works out. And you tell me what you like, don't like. I said,
Right.
okay.
Right.
So I started with principles of Muay Thai. And he said, oh, wow, he's a big guy. Yeah, that's cool. Bam, bam. Yeah, that's cool. Okay. Then I said, you want to learn something more complicated? But I think you're going to love it. He said, what? I said, Jeet Kune Do. I said, what's Jeet Kune Do? I said, oh my God. How many hours do you have? So I started explaining bit by bit,
Yeah.
and I gave him my point of view, and then I gave him different point of views. I told him, there's a lot of different groups, but there's like this, there's a concept group, which is very strong, and there's another strong group where they say they want to do the original Jeet Kune Do because they want to do what supposedly what Bruce Lee was doing during his lifetime and so on. I said, well, I want to do what you want to teach me. And I say, well, I'm sort of devil's advocate. I can see the two sides of the coin.
Right.
And like I told you one time when we were exchanging messages a while ago, I want to do Bruce Lee's Jeet Kune Do. But this being said, I have to make it my own.
Hmm.
Unfortunately, I'm not Bruce Lee.
Right.
So started doing that, starting playing with that. And now he loves it. And now when I ask him, what are your favorite training classes? And he says, okay, number one, Jeet Kune Do. Number two, Muay Thai. Number three, yeah, boxing.
Wow. What a transformation, huh?
And he really improved. I mean, now you can see for a big fellow, he's starting.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Okay. So I want to start closing this up, but here's what I've been thinking since you started talking. What guided you when you were given the keys, so to speak? Teach the kids class. Okay. How about you teach the adults? Right. What guided you then, and has it stayed with you? Or there like principles or ideas or whatever that have stayed with you up until now when you have these three classes per week?
Okay, that's a multiple question.
I'm good at that.
I know. I watch you. I know. For starters, I think teaching is in the blood. My
Hmm,
sister, who's been living in Texas for the past, I don't know, 30, 40 years, decades ago, when he was still living in Montreal, taught chemistry. My two daughters are teachers, and they teach people with special needs,
ah,
be it a child that has experienced violence at home, be it inmates in jail who never finished their high school.
mm-hmm,
So I think it's in us. I think it's in the blood. I don't know why. I can't explain it,
mm-hmm,
but we like it. And actually, I transferred it even to my professional career because I'm the lead reviser for a large translation company. I specialize in banking, and I work with two large banks. I do work for two large banks,
right.
um, but I also do coaching and I also do presentations and I also write a blog. To me, that aspect is very important. I've said to my supervisors, I never want to be the one in position where I have to pick someone for the job or I have to fire someone. I want to be the one that helps people keep their job.
Right.
Try to
Yeah.
try to motivate them.
Yeah.
So that part. As far as teaching, my teaching style has changed so much over the decades, and
Uh,
it's ever evolving.
mm-hmm.
There was a point in my career, especially my start, where I was basically a copy of my master,
Okay.
almost almost imitating him. The voice,
Yeah.
take.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
And then I changed, and then I developed my own style. Then there was a period when I was interested in full contact, where my teaching style was basically okay. I teach the students for a while, and once they have a certain level, like maybe red belt, okay, you spar me with every class, at every
Mm,
class, spar with me, and tough love. Oh, you get knocked down. It's too bad.
yeah.
Now my
Um,
so much that I'm very big on focus mitts. I still believe in sparring, but I don't believe that students should get concussions just
right.
because of proof. I'm more thinking along the lines of Seafood Birch and Richard. You have to test certain things, but you can do them in a smart way. Or, for instance, the Cuban boxing team who spars basically almost like that. They don't knock each other's brains out.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And when I do focus mitts at some point in most classes, especially my privates, we end the class, and students love it, with something that we call freestyle mitts. So freestyle mitts is basically I'll call whatever I want. I want to jab, I want to cross, I want to jab cross, I want to jab cross, I want to hook, weave. But throughout all this, I can tag you back. So I'm not going to hurt them. I've never had, knock on wood, never had so far a bloody nose or anything like that.
Right.
I've tagged a lot of people, and I've disrupted the coiffure of quite a few ladies if they didn't, if they have those ponytails.
Right. Yeah. Hey, what do you think of? Have you ever heard any conversations about this? What do you think of Bruce Lee as an instructor?
I don't know because a lot of people said that he didn't really enjoy teaching, that he was basically doing it to improve himself or to have partners for himself. I could sort of relate to that because when I was younger, that's basically why I was teaching
Hmm.
myself.
Right.
65, I'm looking out for the students instead of myself.
Right. What
And
about Dan Inosanto as an instructor?
you have to keep in mind that he was young. I think he was especially gifted, but based on readings of interviews with Sterling Silliphant, Coburn, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, the likes, they all felt that they had something special with him. That after he was gone, the magic was gone. Like I know that Sterling Silliphant, I think he probably tried Taekwondo with Grandmaster Byung Young Yu and maybe
Hmm.
Japanese karate and so on. And he said it in many interviews. It just wasn't the same. The
Yeah.
magic.
Yeah.
So I
Um,
his best bet was probably one-on-one teaching and not group classes.
right. Right. Yeah. I just remembered when you mentioned Byung Yu, you pointed out there was a recent picture of Bruce Lee in his office, I guess, um, online, and you pointed out that the book in front of him is one of the volumes by Jun Rhee,
It is a
right?
black belt form.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So what do you know? What are your insights and inside stories about Bruce Lee and Jun Rhee?
I don't have a lot of inside stories about Jun Rhee because I've never met Jun Rhee, even though my head man knew him. Uh,
Okay.
but I could see the influence. Actually, if you go back to the pictures, if you see the early days of Kato, and now maybe a bunch of people will be writing to contradict me, but if you see early pictures of Kato, when he's showing a sidekick, maybe not all the time, but sometimes, he's showing the sidekick like a southern Kung Fu style. His hip is not his hip is not turned.
Ah.
Yeah. But
Right.
start looking at pictures from the Bruce Lee fighting method days onwards until Enter the Dragon. There's a full hip pivot where the toes are looking in the back. This is pure Taekwondo.
Yes. Yes. You know who I got that from Black Belt. They were published by Black Belt by O'Hara Publications from Chong Lee,
Yeah,
Dynamic Kicks.
I have those too.
Ah,
Yeah,
ah, that was my guy.
yeah.
That was my guy.
But for myself, I've been lucky. I've been exposed to grandmasters. Actually, uh, my father was involved with the first ITF World Championships. Was the vice, even though he never trained himself.
Ah,
So I got to meet all those grandmasters, and I was around them. So kicking wise, I've been exposed to the best of the best. And
yeah.
in my book, Grandmaster GC Kim was the best.
Hmm.
Imagine a Korean that kicks like the best of them, but he's 6 foot tall.
Right. Yeah. I just thought of something else. And this is random, and you probably will not be able to help me out. In 1977, okay, there was a guy that came. I guess I don't know if he was born in Barbados and moved to Canada or if he was just born in Canada but of Barbadian. But there was a guy, I'm pretty sure his first name was Richard. But it was a tall black guy who was some kind of Canadian Taekwondo champion in 1977.
My guess, and I don't know for sure, I can't think of it recently, but my guess, he must have been a student of Grandmaster Park Jong-soo from Toronto. He was out of who were
Okay, wait, we missed you on that one.
Grandmaster Park Jong-soo had a lot of students who were Canadians, do see the language and so on. So they might
Okay,
we had
because
my what was not name was we he was
that now we didn't hear any. We didn't. Sorry, Jacques, we didn't hear any of that.
yeah. So there was a class student. He was very and I trained with him 1973 to probably 5. He was one of our good. He was of Asian origins, but he lived quite a while in New York City.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna let you go
I,
and tell Candace thank you again for for letting me get some of her hour. Jacques, it was a pleasure to talk to you, and
same here, sir.
we're gonna get together.
We're gonna get together. It's gonna happen.
All right. Okay. All right. Thank you, sir. Right. Have a great weekend. All right.
Take,
Take care.
take care. Bye bye.
Okay. We had a little bit of audio issues, but the best stories were there were no audio issues on that. Okay, all right. So that was episode number 342 of the Jeet Kune Do Dialogues. Um, you guys, if you have any comments or any questions or anything, go ahead. Sorry that we didn't get to put anything on Facebook. I've been waiting on a reply from their support team. I don't know what kind of team they have for about a week and a half now with regards to the issues that we're having and what have you. So I'm gonna put the rest of the stuff in post on this, right? Because we got to go do some stuff now. All right. Okay. So this is Dwight Woods of Jeet Kune Do Rebels signing off. You guys enjoy your weekend, and we will talk soon. Take care.